Hello, all you wonderful fools. It's time for the Mizzah Tee Show.
All aboard!
Here we go, let's start the show. Hosted by Mizzah Tee. Nintendo video games are the favorite ones for me. News and reviews, some gameplay too. Battling drones is what I do. M-I-Z-Z-A-H is the show by Mizzah Tee. It's the show by Mizzah Tee. FOOS. Hit up, FOOS.
It's Mizzah Tee, and I'm teed off. Yeah, well, I'm going to try to be, because this is some more stupidity here. Now look, when Nintendo announced Metroid Prime Federation Force, I was upset. E3 2015, I was hoping that we get an announcement for a new mainline Metroid game for Wii U, but obviously that didn't happen. And so let me explain why I was upset. One reason I was upset because it wasn't another mainline Metroid game like I was hoping for Wii U, or 3DS for that matter. That would have been fine. So that was, that was my first reason. Second reason, I didn't like the art style. People have called it chibi. It has a kind of big head, bobblehead kind of look to it. Wasn't too excited about that. And frankly, I'm still not excited about it. But it is what it is. It's not changing at this point. And the third reason was the way it was first introduced to us was the blast ball kind of little soccer game, whatever you want to call it. Not being too excited about that, and then finding out that that was going to be part of the next Metroid game. It was like a triple, it's like a trifecta effect. I was upset. And E3 overall, Nintendo's presentation overall wasn't very good. And so those three things, on top of everything else, had me pretty upset. But I was never upset about the game's existence. I was only upset about it in that context of not being a new Metroid game, the mainline series Metroid game, and the art style. But there are some people out there that are like, this game should not exist. This is not a Metroid game. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like I said before, this is not a mainline Metroid game. It's a spinoff. A lot of games have spinoffs. Mario has more spinoffs than anybody. I never hear anybody saying, oh, this Mario Golf game is not a Mario game. Or this Mario Kart game is not a Mario game. This is not pure. It's impure. It doesn't belong in the Mario world. Nobody said it about Legend of Zelda. When we got the spin-off game Hyrule Warriors, people were pretty excited about that. So when I hear these people talking about they have no right to make this game is not a Metroid game, it's not in the Metroid world, who the are you to decide that? That doesn't make any sense. Like I said, it makes sense to be upset about the art style or to be upset that this is not a mainline game. When I hear people say it has no right, this is not a Metroid game. Well, yeah, the producers of the game says it is. It may not be the type of Metroid game we're used to seeing, but it is a spinoff. I think it was Game Explained. Somebody in Game Explained, I can't remember exactly who it was. I don't care what Nintendo says. I don't care what Tanabe says. The guy of Metroid. Don't care what he says. This is not a Metroid game. Well, it is. You're going to have to deal with it or not and move on. Now, I'm over my initial anger, like I said, because there was all these things put together at once coming at me, as I mentioned earlier. But as a game on its own merits, it seems fine. It looks like a pretty good game. I like what they're doing with the gameplay. And this is not going to be, a Metroid game where you level up and then you do the backtracking and all that stuff, look at that level, look at that area over there. I can't get to it, so I get a certain power. No, it's not that kind of Metroid game, but it's still set in the Metroid Prime universe. And I don't see what the big deal is when it comes to that. And then you have Paper Mario Color Splash. It was funny because I remember when they first were talking about it being a rumor that Paper Mario is going to be on Wii U, and people were already making their demands. That's what they do with Nintendo games. They already have all these sets to be. I never hear people say that about other games before they come out. A game gets announced, nobody has, it better have this, it better have that, it better have this and this and that. Only Only Nintendo games where I hear people have this set list of demands where it has to have this, has to have that. So of course it comes out. It's noticed, or people talk about it, and they have all the demands for it before we know it coming out. They're like, oh, it better not be like Sticker Star, the most highest selling one, the highest selling Paper Mario game. It better not be like that. It better be more like Thousand Year Door. Even though we haven't had a game like Thousand Year Door from the Paper Mario series in 15 years, the games still seem to be doing well. But no, it's got to be like Thousand Year Door. That's our demands. It's funny to me that people make these demands when it comes to only Nintendo games. Like, I see hundreds of games come out a year, get announced, and there's not these demands put on them. I remember thinking, oh, I hope it's Sticker Star 2 just to piss everybody off. And it seems like it has elements of Sticker Star, and some elements maybe of Thousand Year Door in there as well. Don't know if it's story focused like Thousand Year Door is, or more gameplay focused like Sticker Star on another Paper Mario games. I mean, this is, Nintendo rarely does the same thing with every game. There was a game called Super Mario Brothers that came out in 1985, right? And it had its gameplay. People were very excited about it. The game sold well. It was a revolutionary game, revolutionary platformer. Everybody was excited about it. And then out comes Super Mario Brothers 2, and it is almost completely different from Super Mario Brothers, the game that started the whole revolution, for platformers. It was completely different. You jump on people's heads and nothing happens. You rarely collect coins. You don't punch bricks anymore. A lot of things were different. Obviously, if you know the story behind it, it was Doki Doki Panic with Mario Kart slapped on it. But Nintendo had no problem. They didn't think twice to do that, to completely change what Mario was that we knew. And honestly, even going forward, Super Mario Bros. 3, while it brought back some of the stuff we were used to in Mario Bros. 1, it still did a lot of wild, crazy different things. And that was accepted. But I don't know what it is today that we have these gamers that have to have the game the same way as it was before. Even though most series, especially Nintendo series, have pretty major changes. Remember this game? To bring it back to Metroid, remember this game that came out in 2002, I believe, called Metroid Prime? Before it came out, it was, first it was third-person action, and then they switched it to first-person, and people were upset. Oh my God, how dare they change Metroid into a first-person shooter, blah, 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 blah. All the crying and stuff was going on. A lot of you people may not know this or remember this, but I remember it, because you know what? I was one of the people saying, oh my God, what are they doing, turning Metroid into an FPS game? And you know what? It was one of the greatest games I ever played. And I think Terrell said it in one of his recent videos, that we don't know what we want. We don't know what we want until we get it. So we'll bitch and moan and cry about everything. But as gamers, we're so fickle, and we're so, unable to really know what we want. Because I see gamers who have all these stances that accept a lot of bullshit that'll change their stance for, their favorite games. The standards they might put on another game, they'll change it for their favorite game, because we all have biases. So the bias that we had going into Metroid Prime, we knew what Metroid was, and we knew what it was, what it was supposed to be. And sure, Metroid Prime retained some of the things from the 2D Metroid games, but it was still wildly different. It turned out okay. The world didn't end when that happened. And I think if you're a Metroid fan, you should be excited that there is a game that's going to expand the lore of Metroid Prime. You don't have to like the game. I don't know if I'll like it until I play it. But to have these rules and stipulations is just kind of ridiculous to me, especially since I've laid out, evidence of games that we swear we didn't want when they came. Turns out we actually kind of like them. So, yeah, let's think before we cry. This T. That's it for this Teed Off. See you fools next time.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Play everything, you silly Nintendo fags.
Come here.